Chris, what is, I can't imagine, our fifth main topic today?
It's a fresh one.
Fresh one.
From Sean Bradley. Hey, John. It's been a week since the Oscars, and people are still talking about the slap heard around the world. Since then, Will Smith has resigned from the Academy and several projects, including a fourth Bad Boys movie that's been put on hold. However, it has been disclosed that Netflix and Apple quietly removed their bids for a potential biopic of Smith's life based on the memoir that he wrote last year. What are your thoughts?
All right. So I feel like Michael Corleone in Godfather 3. Every time we think we're getting a break from talking about Will Smith, they drag us back in. All right. So, look, we don't have to revisit the whole drama about what happened at the Oscars. We know what happened. Rock made a joke. Smith went up and physically hit him and all this stuff going on. Several important key things have happened, though, over the past couple of days that we do need to discuss. I mean, first of all, this is arguably one of the top 5 movie stars in the world. He is the reigning, defending Best Actor of the Year at the Academy Awards. And some things that have come up here are, if you're going to talk about movies, you got to discuss this. One is Will Smith resigned from the Academy. That actually means nothing. Like, a lot of people were asking me, do you think that's a significant thing? It's not a significant thing. Resigning from the Academy just means he doesn't get to vote on the Oscars.
Yep.
That's it. It really means nothing. What will really count is if the Oscars suspend him and remove him from eligibility to be nominated. Because resigning from the Academy, you still get to be nominated for Oscars and all that kind of stuff if you are. So that's kind of irrelevant. What is very relevant, though, is how does this affect the career of the current reigning Best Actor Academy Award winner? And it looks like there are repercussions happening, and they're happening in ways that I didn't even suspect. This comes just from the folks over at IndieWire, write the following. The Hollywood Reporter has reported that Netflix is halting development on Fast and Loose, a new film that was set to star Will Smith as a powerful criminal who loses his memory only to learn that he was living a double life. Sources in the story say that Netflix has paused the project and may ultimately scrap it or move forward with a different director and star. But they are wary about working with Will Smith during the fallout from the Oscars. While this would be the first instance of Smith losing a project due to his conduct at the Oscars, the report suggests that it is unlikely to be the last. A source has said that Sony is also pausing development on Bad Boys 4, despite Smith receiving 40 pages of the script before the Oscars, and indicated that some of Smith's other potential projects are likely to meet the same fate. And that, again, comes to us from IndieWire. This, to me, is the worst case scenario coming, because look, having to be resigned from the Oscars, getting suspended from the Oscars, that could be significant. Getting expelled from the Oscars permanently, that's significant. But the most significant thing is, does it affect the movies he gets to be in moving forward? And honestly, I didn't think it would. But here we are. So they are, number one, saying Netflix is putting the brakes on Fast and Loose. Sony appears to be putting the brakes on Bad Boys. By the way, both of which could pick back up again later. But for now, they're saying that. But it may be even more significantly, the trades are reporting that both Apple and Netflix, who were in the bidding process for getting the rights to Will Smith's biography, they've pulled out. Netflix and Apple have both pulled out, essentially putting a halt to that as well. We are talking about maybe the most important movie star of the past 10 to 12 years. Probably, like today, that's probably Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, maybe Ryan Reynolds. But if you're going to look at the last 12, 13 years as a whole, there's not been a bigger bankable star than Will Smith. And now we're talking about maybe his projects are getting paused. They're putting the brakes on them. They may get scrapped. And one other thing that's pretty significant here is that SAG has started to weigh in. And SAG is saying they are beginning disciplinary actions. or at least discussing disciplinary actions, because of course Chris Rock is a SAG member, a Screen Actors Guild member, and a Screen Actors Guild member got attacked by another Screen Actors Guild member. Now, they basically say they're going to wait until the Academy rules about what they're going to do, but here's a worst case scenario. Worst case scenario. And I can't remember, do you have your SAG card yet, Chris?
Oh, yeah.
Of course, you're part of one of the committees. Yeah. So correct me if I'm wrong here. Please do. But one of the things, a lot of the trades laid out SAG's guidelines that they would have to follow and procedures if they're going to bring disciplinary action against Smith. One of the things they said that is on the table is being expelled from the union. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. If you're not a SAG member, that then, to a degree, limits somewhat projects you can and cannot be involved in. Like, if a major motion picture is being done and it's a union picture, if Will Smith is kicked out of SAG, does that not limit? Like, I mean, he doesn't say he couldn't appear in any movies. I'm not saying, but does that not mean that there are going to be some movies that he's not even able to be a part of because he's not a part of the union? Again, this is a worst case scenario that hasn't necessarily yet happened. But if they did that, does that affect him? So
it can. But it is a very, very convoluted issue. So you have non-union actors, you have union actors, members of SAG-AFTRA, and then you have FICOR, financial core members, who are dues-paying non-members. That's usually an option that you take if you're somebody who does like a lot of commercials. A lot of commercial work is non-union. A lot of voiceover work is non-union. And so that takes you out of getting all of the benefits of the union and can also kind of affect whether or not a SAG production would bring you on. Some people view that in that case as being kind of a union scab in ways, and these are other people's words, not mine, about whether or not they would allow you in there. There are some notable actors who are that financial core. Being kicked out of the union, though, I think that is something that definitely would have an impact on your castability. Because we talked about this last week. There is the idea of, the court of public approval, right? And ultimately how the public views you. So if we have a whole bunch of people, SAG-AFTRA included, who are saying, hey, we do not condone the actions of this person, or we do not view them as a member of our union, that definitely could affect his castability down the road. Does the average person really care about that? Who's to say? If you're a big Bad Boys fan, you probably just want another Bad Boys film, and you really don't care about the union.
I know, I want another
there,
one.
Right?
I really liked the last one.
And so I think that's something that's going to come into play here too. Will Smith can still bring box office numbers. Could it mean that a casting associate or a casting director is less likely to bring him in for discussions? Maybe. But I think this also really, really means, how does everyone globally view Will Smith as a person who they want to go see in films?
Guys, we want to take a minute and thank a sponsor of today's video, Viore. Now, Ann and I like to work out and train several days a week, but the thing is, I want to be comfortable and not look like a slob at the same time, and I often have a hard time finding something that does both. But Viore, everything is designed to work out in, but it doesn't look or feel like it's made to be worked out in. It is so comfortable, you will want to wear this stuff all the time. Now, you guys know I like some flexibility and versatility in the clothes that I wear, but that's where Viore comes in. See, it can be used for just about any activity like running, training, swimming, yoga, but it's also great just for lounging around or going out on the weekends in. For example, take the men's core shorts. These are the most comfortable and one of the best looking pairs of shorts that you can own, and they're versatile. One pair of shorts for just about every sport that you can play. Or take the men's Sunday performance jogger. These pants are perfect for lounging around in or going out for a good run. Viore is an investment in your happiness. For our viewers, they are offering 20% off your very first purchase. Get yourself some of the most comfortable and versatile clothing on the planet at viore.com/Campea. That's viori.com/Campea. Not only will you receive 20% off your first purchase, but enjoy free shipping on any U.S. orders over $75 and free returns. Go to viori.com/Campea and discover the versatility of Viore clothing. I've always kind of been torn on this. From everything we know about Will Smith, we talked about this before. This is not a pattern of behavior we've seen from Will Smith.
Not that we've seen, no.
No, this has been, from all accounts, an isolated oddity. Or what, an aberration? Is that the word for it? Like, it's something that's completely out of character, hasn't happened before. This is not, I don't believe we should judge people based on their worst moment, and this was Will Smith's worst moment. He still did it, and that action needs to be addressed, and there needs to be consequences. I got to tell you this, though. Considering it was an isolated incident, and I am okay with the Academy suspending him, and maybe even SAG suspending him. Mm-hmm. I feel like stopping development on Bad Boys is a little bit of an overreach. I feel like stopping development on, or no longer being interested in the Will Smith biopic, I feel like that's a little bit of an overreaction. Stopping development on a movie you're already in the process of putting together with Fast and Loose with Will Smith, I feel like that's a little bit of an overreaction.
I think so.
I mean, because look, I get it. As Rob always says, it's not show friends, it's show business. And if you think having a certain person in your movie will hurt your business, then you step away from that. I get that. And I got a feeling, and maybe I'm wrong, I got a feeling like maybe one of the reasons they're saying they're putting a pause on this is because maybe these studios just want to see how does public perception pan out after a few weeks. You know, maybe like a month from now, you know, Netflix and Sony and Apple and whatever, maybe they'll just reassess in like a month, say, how have people reacted? Mm-hmm. Like maybe the best thing in the world here would be for Smith to get like a 2 or 3 year suspension from the Academy. And then the general public perception is that's enough. You know?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, there was something bad happened. It got dealt with. Now let's all, including Will Smith, move forward. And maybe that suspension happens and then everybody's cool with it. And then the other places can get involved and start rolling. But right now it looks like they're putting the pause on these things. Chris, do you think these are movies that are ultimately going to get scrapped, or do you think they'll ultimately start moving forward once the dust settles?
I think they'll move forward, honestly. I really, really do. I think right now it's no one knows how to react to this thing, right? And so it's going back to what's the right and wrong of this? How does the public feel about it? How do we feel about it? You know, I think a lot of people are just trying to see who does what so they can make their own decisions. That's what we're seeing here with the Academy and SAG, frankly. That's what I think. Their investigation is pending. They're investigating while they watch other people do things. And just real quick, going back to that too, if the union or these other people could kick somebody out because, as the union states, you can do so if anyone engages in actions that are antagonistic to the interests or integrity of the union. That's a lot of actors on film and television sets.
Right.
And things have gotten better, I will say that. But we have heard horror stories. I've been around those horror stories. I mean, Aaron and I have talked about this, of actors behaving incredibly poorly on set to and around other union members. And that's kind of what the issue is here, right? Of this is what happened with him and Chris Rock. A lot of other people are going to have to be dealt with in a similar way if we set a precedence like this. And so that's part of this. Do you want to set a precedence? Do you want to, if something like this happens and you do apologize, if you do show change behavior, do all your projects and all your prospects get taken away? I hope they don't. I really, really hope that in this case that Will Smith continues to work and make films, because I enjoy him as an actor. And thus far, I've enjoyed him as a public persona, too. I really, really think that once the dust settles, we're going to see these movies go back into production.
One can only hope. Anyway, guys, the question is for you. What do you think? There's been a lot of movement over the weekend, from SAG weighing in on things, his resignation from the Academy, Netflix pausing one of the films, Sony apparently is putting pause on Bad Boys, Apple and Netflix pulling out of a potential biopic. How do you guys see all this stuff shaking out right now? What do you think would be the best outcome right now for Will Smith? Do you think some of these reactions are overreactions? Whatever you guys are feeling about it, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts.